You do a disservice to Pennsylvania.
I gotta say, man, before John Fetterman had his stroke, he was a pretty typical Democrat. He was all about wealth redistribution, all about taxation. I mean, he was even out chasing random black guys with his shotgun. Pretty old school, typical Democrat stuff, right? But you gotta hand it to him, man. Ever since his stroke, ever since his brain began to actually heal, the guy is honestly pretty damn impressive. I mean, the guy has got reasonable positions on illegal immigration. He was the only Democrat calling for the resignation of Gold Bar Bob Menendez. Actually, the only Washington creature at all, as far as I know. And that finally just happened, by the way. Gold Bar Bob is out of here. But another thing that separates him from the average Democrat is his support for Israel and his willingness to call terrorism, which is amazing. It's amazing on a million different ways. It's amazing that that is like a remarkable thing nowadays, for one. But Democrats, they won't even talk about it. I mean, they can't even bring themselves to say some people did some things. But John Fetterman, to his credit, is thinking like a common sense guy with a normal working brain.
Another area where you differed was on the Middle East. And just the other day, I guess you had talked to some of the Republicans saying, could you sit in on the meeting when they had a virtual meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu? Who did you approach on that? What did they say?
Yeah, no, I was very disappointed that our caucus we didn't have the opportunity to do that. I really wanted to hear from Netanyahu. In fact, I even asked the Republicans, back channels. It's like, hey, can I just sit there and I don't even have to any questions? And I've always been incredibly surprised why we're not talking about where this was because of Hamas and the things that they've done, and that why aren't there is a protest kind of a surge to demand that Hamas to surrender on this. If you really want to end all just the misery and the death and the destruction, if they would just surrender and it would end tomorrow, release everybody, send them home. And that's been very frustrating. And then we're talking about now there's 31,000 Palestinians that were killed, and you're not talking about, 13,000 or more are actually Hamas fighters on that. So why aren't you breaking that out as well, too? And then if you do, and talk about the casualty ratio, it's actually very clear that this isn't a genocide or that the Israelis are targeting civilians. In fact, the only ones that target civilians, that's Hamas.
You got to give credit where credit's due, man. John Fetterman is absolutely right. Absolutely right. 100% correct. And really, I think if you dig in, regardless of your personal politics, I think it's really, really safe to say that no other nation on earth would be asked to show the kind of restraint that is being basically demanded of Israel from everyone, basically every country all across the globe. I mean, even Chinese communist leaders that have 1 million Muslim slaves in their country are trying to tell Israel what to do. And don't get lost in the weeds on my statement here. The people who are calling for restraint right now, the people on the Senate floor calling for changes in their government, they're just backfilling all their reasons and all their arguments right now. Those same people were calling for the same kind of restraint before Israel even fired a shot. And that would not have been asked of any other nation on the planet. Innocent civilians were literally still smoldering when the usual suspects were already begging them to basically do nothing. And now you have the leader of the free world, man, the president of the United States, world-renowned foreign policy expert and adult in the room, parroting terrorist-provided talking points. And honestly, man, God bless John Fetterman for calling the guy out. Whatever has happened to John Fetterman, I like the new John Fetterman. I think every single liberal, lunatic, and other leftists in America, I would love if they would have the opportunity to be seen by Fetterman's doctors at Walter Reed, because those people are freaking miracle workers. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.